Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and we're just here today. I just wanted to do like a formal update. I feel sorry for leaving everybody in the dark for so long, especially people who donated to help the project. And GoFundMe, if you're interested in doing that, there's links in the description you can check out. But basically, we have the big old USPS truck. It's a Chevy workhorse step van, and a few months ago, well, at this point it's been 6-7 months, it developed an issue with low oil pressure. Technically it still drives, but it's not going to drive very far. It's just a matter of days or moments until the engine seizes up. So I've had it sitting in the same spot for a long time with hopes of, in case it needed to get somewhere, hopefully the engine could get it across town if that were the case. But it has a 6.5 liter Detroit diesel in it. And we are going to do a Cummins swap. That's still the plan. I still have the conversion kit, all those billet aluminum pieces. And I ordered a Cummins engine about 6 months ago. So I found this guy, and this is just an update of what's going on with the project. It's not running. I don't have the engine. I paid a down payment for the core charge, the core. I'm not sure. I'm sure it was just a down payment for all the work that was going to be done, which was $3,500 6 months ago. And it's been almost 6 months at this point. I found the guy. He had a local listing on Facebook for his business, and he had a pretty legitimate business. I mean, he had a physical location in a town about 20 minutes south. He has a website. He's run his business for several years apparently, and everything seemed legit. So I said, hey, you know what? He's a local guy, pretty decent price. They were going to rebuild a block. They were going to give me a long block with a bunch of accessories because I'm doing a swap into a vehicle that doesn't have a Cummins coming out of it. So I need things like a turbo and intercooler because mine's non-turboed, stuff like that. So they were going to get me brackets, alternators, that sort of stuff. However, the conversion kit I have has some alternator brackets and stuff with it, so I can reuse the ones I have. However, after all this, the guy said, hey, I'll have the engine done in about 2 weeks. So I said, hey, I've got a YouTube channel if you want to collaborate. You know, I'm willing to put your business name on the truck or whatever. Just trying to get a little bit better of a deal, obviously, because that's worth something to some people. So he said, you know what, I'm willing to work with you. We'll see what we can do. That sounds awesome. So he knows I have a YouTube channel. And that's honestly why I haven't been updating people, because I wanted to have the upper hand in this situation. And I'll get into what that means here in a second. So the 2 weeks come and go. Throughout this time, he's like, hey, well, technically, I think leading up until he even got started, he just kept saying, hey, let me work on it with you. I can help you, you know, put the engine in and everything. You know, if you want to give my business a shout out. So he seemed pretty eager. And he was like, hey, I'll come by today. He wouldn't come by, wouldn't answer for a few days. I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm like, if you don't want to come by and give me a discount, I'm like, I still want the engine. So just get that going for me, you know? So I gave him the down payment. And I said, you know, if you want to do something, tell me about it later. I'm like, just get the thing started. I need it in here and as soon as possible, because I don't, you know, want to be out of a vehicle for work. And so he said, okay, 2 week turnaround. I'll have everything done. We'll have the block machined, all new internals, except for obviously connecting rods. But they were going to have new pistons, new bearings, rebuilt injectors, supposedly, everything just fresh, and paint whatever color I want, which he said that, but then he never like asked me what color paint I wanted. And so it was like 2 weeks later and I'm like, dude, do you have it? I'm like, are you going to put a color on it? I'm like, I don't really care, but if you are, I'm like, put red on it because I wear a lot of like these red jumpsuits and stuff. So he said, okay, cool, yeah, I can paint it red. And I'm like, when's it going to be done? And then he wouldn't answer. So I'm like, hey, when's it going to be done? Is it done? Is it done? You know, pretty much every day. And I was just texting him at this point because if I called him, he wouldn't answer. And then he would answer like once a week, once every other 2 weeks, sometimes 3, and be like, oh, he's like, we got super busy. He's like, I'll have it done for you by the end of next week. I'm like, dude, come on. So it's been like a month, starting to get on to 2 months. And so I text him, I'm like, dude, look, I need it now. I'm like, I have people who donated. I'm responsible to those people now. I'm like, you know, I've announced the project on the channel. I'm like, this isn't something that can just fly under the radar right now. I'm like, I had a deadline. I had told people it was going to be done in 2 weeks already when I got the conversion kit, the billet aluminum pieces, and the guy won't answer me. And so I'm like, what's going on? So I look up his business and he's like, hey, we just moved shop locations to like an hour north. I'm like, okay, whatever, no big deal. I can slap that engine in the back of my Ranger and come on down back here with the engine, whatever, you know, no big deal. If the shop's there, you know, I'll just go up there and get it. And so I started looking around his Facebook profile, and the name of his business might have changed. I don't remember exactly why, and I'm not going to put him on blast yet because thing is, I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do. I think I'm going to just talk to a lawyer and try and get my deposit refunded, because I already told him, I'm like, look, man, just give me my money back. I'll get to that in a second. And he still hasn't done that. So that's why at this point I'm like, something's not right. So we changed shop locations to a shop that had some terrible, terrible reviews on the internet, and it had gone through like 5 different business names. So what I'm not sure of right now is at this point if he's part of that business that's done terrible business for years, or if that business just can't stay in business anymore. And that's why they changed their name so many times to kind of start over. So when people looked them up, they couldn't find all their bad reviews. I called, they're actually part of a warehouse, and next door is an electrical supply company. I called that electrical supply company, trying not to like, I'm trying to get into this of having the upper hand and not, letting these guys know what my plan is. That way, they can't thwart my plan in some sort of way. So I called the electrical company. I said, hey, is there a machine shop or a mechanic shop next door? I said, I'm interested in checking that place out. He said, yeah, but he's like, they're never there. They're only ever there sometimes late at night. He said, are you planning on doing business with them? And I said, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I said, why? I thought it was a very curious question that he would ask me over the phone, not knowing me if I was planning on doing business with them. And he said, he's like, yeah, he said something along the lines of they've done, without saying directly this, they've done really bad business. Or he said they may not be around for long. That's what he said. And I said, in a good way or in a bad way? And he said, in a bad way. I said, thanks for the info. So again, I'm not sure if this guy is part of that business or if that business is going out and this guy just taking the opportunity to buy the shop. Not sure. Regardless, they're not in their physical location when I paid for the engine, but the invoice actually has this new address on it. So I guess they were transitioning. So it's been, again, 6 months now. It got to the point where I would text them and say, hey, I need it. Like, no joke, you promised it to me months ago. So if you can't have it, just give me my money back. And he told me at one point, he said, I promise you I'll have it done tomorrow. Just stop by the shop. And then I'd say, okay, what's the address? I wasn't sure if it was that address or not yet. I'm like, what's the address? And then he wouldn't answer. I'm like, dude, what's the address? I'm like, if I'm going to go to the shop and pick up my engine tomorrow night, I'm like, what's the address? So he wouldn't send it to me. He wouldn't answer. Like a week later, I'd just text him. Because again, I could call him 4, 5 times, 6, 7 times in a row, and he wouldn't answer. So then I text him. That's the only way I could get an answer out of him. And he'd say, oh, he's like, sorry, we had some guys go out of town. Somebody got sick. Just always something, Oh, and one of the times he said, he actually said, let me just pull up the messages here because I'm sure I have it. He's like, we have a bunch of, he's like, well, getting this into a vehicle that didn't have a cord come out of it. He's like, there's a lot of bolts and stuff that we're looking for. I was like, bolts and stuff. So that was pretty funny. I'm like, you spent 4 months looking for bolts. I'm sure here's the thing, if there is actually an engine being built, it's either in the back of a pile. He sent me a few pictures, but I'm pretty sure they're not the actual engine. They're probably just random pictures at this point. I don't believe that that's actually my engine. Oh shoot, I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but here's a picture of the engine, supposedly, but months and months will go by, and so yeah, so they're making a lot of changes. Let me show you. Oh, he said they're shorthanded. That's why it's taken so long. But I'm like, dude, it's taken 6 months. I've rebuilt several engines. I've not rebuilt a 5.9, but I know it's not going to take more than a day's worth of work to put everything together. So here it is. So he said this has been kind of a pain getting together, finding bolts and whatnot. I'll 1000% have it ready for you next week. And that was the beginning of August. But we can go all the way back months and just say, see messages that says every time, oh, next week I'll have it, next week I'll have it. And I've been very nice with him because I did find a review saying he was very confrontational, and a lot of people are like that. So if I come at him and I never gets anything solved anyway, he's upset, then, he's just going to get mad. So I've been very, thank you for your effort. Thank you for your consideration or your willingness to help me. It's not working out. So I'm like, please just give me my money back at this point. Like, just give me the 35. Well, I messed up. I should have paid for it on my credit card. So I could have just done a chargeback, but I actually paid for it through my personal bank account, just a bank transfer, because it was enough to not want to whip out my credit card and do all that. I just thought, hey, it'll be easy to do a bank transfer. That's nice and secure. But going back, I would have definitely just put it on my credit card and done a chargeback whenever, after like 30 days, 2 weeks, if you didn't have it to me. That's definitely my plan in the future. So yeah, everything just kind of at this point falling apart, and now he won't answer. At this point, I've said the last time I talked to him, because he won't answer any of my newest text messages, I was just confirming his address. So I actually sent through the mail return receipt requested, where I have proof that they actually received the letter, and a demand for refund, just a formal demand for refund. A business, legitimate business in Utah, according to the law, has to supply a refund with a reasonable request within 30 days of a demand. So he hasn't done that. So I think this is the point where I'm going to find an attorney or a lawyer who can reach out and contact him from their official address, whether it be email or whatever, their official office, letterhead. That way, hopefully it's a little bit serious, because I don't want to go out and say, hey, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to put you on the internet, which I'm totally willing to do if it's going to help me get my money back at this point. But I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. So I guess if you have any suggestions, that's where I'm at. Again, I'm sorry I didn't update everybody. I was trying to keep the upper hand, but at this point, everything's not panned out. In fact, I sent 3 letters, one to his home address, one to his old business address, just in case, and one to his new business address, and none of them were able to be delivered. They try like 15 times before they'll return those back. So, but again, the law in Utah is you only have to try to reach out to the person, to send them an email or have proof of a letter that you sent. So that's sufficient to go ahead and sue them at this point, whether they received the letter or not. It was the intent to reach out to them and request the refund, whether they received it or acknowledged it or not. So yeah, I think at this point, just reach out to a lawyer. I'm not really when it comes down to this, it's the principle I'm standing on at this point, that if it costs me the same to take him to court or whatever, for whatever reason, I'd rather spend my money on the court system than have this bum with my money in his pocket. So, whether I break even or not, if, we win, and I don't see why we wouldn't, then they should be responsible for all those expenses as well. So hopefully he's smart enough to just say, hey, let's not go through all that and keep putting money on top of this to just give me my money back. That being said, if you have a scoop on a good 5.9 engine Cummins diesel, I'm going to be in the market for a new one soon. So send me an email or a text message or whatever. Just hit me up. That's what's going on here. So let me just check my little notes here, make sure I answered everything I could think of. Yeah, those pictures and everything. Yeah, so I've had that conversion kit. When I ordered the engine, I ordered the conversion kit, and the conversion kit was going to take 3 weeks to get here, and the engine was going to take 2. So I thought the conversion kit was going to hold me up. That's been sitting in the back of my truck forever. I've just been using the Ranger and doing small jobs. I am at school full time. I did summer and spring terms, as well as now I'm in the fall semester, and then I have winter coming up, and I should be able to graduate if I don't fail a class, which I've done before, but hopefully I don't these next 2 semesters. So I have been able to occupy my time doing school mostly, and so the jobs I have been able to do time-wise and energy-wise, I've just been really just picking smaller jobs. So I've been able to do them in the Ranger, but I really want to get back on the road in the big truck, have all my tools secured. That's how I ran my business for 2 years, and I want to get back into my business. And because of this guy, I've had my truck sitting for 6 months, which was totally unexpected. I was thinking a month, because I was thinking, man, 2 weeks I can have that engine in there, especially if I work on it every day. I was expecting 5-6 days and then double that, because I can never estimate correctly. So I was thinking, hey, a month I'll have this back on the road. But at this point, it's been 6 months and I haven't even got started. I haven't even got the old engine out. And again, for that same reason, it runs just enough to where if I need something for some reason to get it across town, hopefully I don't have to pay to tow it, because those big tow trucks that can haul those things are expensive. So that's the update for the truck. Again, 1,000 apologies to everybody who supported the project up till now. I really didn't want to leave anybody in the dark, just kind of the way I didn't want to announce, because again, this guy knew I had a YouTube channel on the internet, what my plans were, and to have them one step ahead of me. At this point, I don't care if they see this video or not. I'll make more videos about it and be very specific, because this guy's trying to grow his business. But if this is how people are going to be treated, which according to a few others, this isn't atypical. But again, that's not my intention, is to put people on blast. But honestly, I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do or not. And when I say that, I mean I'm pretty sure it's the right thing to do. So I don't know if I'm doing anybody more of a disservice not naming the business. But for the sake of having some sort of advantage, I'm not going to do that yet. And just trying to get my money back. Again, if it goes to the court system, better than being in the pocket of that bum. And hopefully, again, at this point, if he shows up at my house with the engine tomorrow, I will not accept it. I do not want an engine from him. So if you see this and that's your intention, forget the engine. I only want the money back. So that's the update. Put some comments down below. Shoot me a text or an email if you have a scoop on a 5.9, if you have any suggestions, because I'm thinking, hey, at this point, an attorney or a lawyer, get the ball rolling, because it could be another 6 months before the guy even answers my text message. I'm not waiting on that anymore. I'm getting my money back, getting the ball rolling, because I need to get my truck back on the road, make some good content, finish paying my way through school, and that's where we're at. So again, comment down below if you have anything to say that I didn't think of. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer, or maybe I'll probably do another update video. This video's gotten pretty long, but pretty weird situation. I've been ripped off right now. Actually, I haven't been ripped off in like 2 years, but I have like 3 people right now who owe me money, so you'll probably see a video on that soon. I think it's going to be pretty entertaining and interesting. And this guy, so this one was totally unexpected. It was a legitimate business. I'm like, how's a business ripping me off? I'm the business that usually gets ripped off, because people, get in their little RV after I put a starter in it and take off, and I never see them again. But I was not expecting to get ripped off by what appeared to be a legitimate business. I think it is, because I paid to receive a bunch of documents from the state as to who registered the business, who the entities are. I can see that it's an active business, it's paid for. So they're keeping it up to date. They've got a website. The guy seems pretty proud of his business, but I'm not sure it's anything to be proud of. I could be wrong, but I've seen a few other people after I did some intense digging that I wouldn't have found initially, because I researched a little bit for like an hour before I, decided to get an engine from them. But doing a bit more intense research over several hours, I found several more people who weren't satisfied with their business, and only a few people that were, and they're kind of those very weird generic little reviews that seem like they're almost family members, or paid, or got some sort of discount to leave a good review. So I don't buy those. There was nothing convincing that looked positive, and so here's where we are. Thanks for watching. I'm Ernest. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you have anything, and I'll see you on the next episode. We'll have some roadside rescues coming soon. I just got the gist of this new semester, and so we'll have some more content coming out now that I have a little bit of time to edit in the evenings. I'll see you on the next episode, and hopefully we get this figured out and it will be a job well done.